Good morning, everybody.
Morning, guys.
Hey, everybody. Cool, so we are joined by Joe Bell and Darren Bazeley ahead of our game against Sweden on Friday night in Sweden and obviously Saturday morning in New Zealand. Baze, how are you feeling obviously ahead of the game playing the number 22 in the world?
Good. This is good having a camp here because obviously it's a lot closer for the players. So we've had a lot more time for this camp rather than the camp we had in March. So yeah, having the extra time, some extra training sessions, but having the extra time to actually catch up with the players and have a lot of meetings to discuss how we're going to go moving forward has been awesome. We're ready to go. Game tomorrow. We're in a good place. Everybody's fit and well. We've got some selection decisions to make, which is cool. We're ready to build on the performance from China.
And Joe, how are the players feeling?
I think the players are really excited. I think we all see it as a really good opportunity to come up against a top opposition. So they're really going to test us in a lot of aspects of the game. But we want that because we want to learn and we want to grow. And as Baze said, we want to grow from the last games against China and then building towards Olympics in 2026.
Awesome. Over to you guys.
Hey Darren, hey Joe, Andrew Vorman here. Darren, back 3 or back 4 tomorrow?
Well, I can't tell you that, can I? Because people will be listening to how we're going to play. But yeah, that'll come out obviously when you see the game. We've done a lot of discussions with the players around how we want to play, how we want to look moving forward. We're excited with how the team's going to set up to play. Don't really want to tell you that because Sweden might be watching.
Yeah. Rightly or wrongly, I think there's a bit of a growing perception in some quarters of the NZ football fan base that they're sort of sick of seeing a back 3, that they sort of view it as defensive. Rightly or wrongly, whether you agree. In your position as coach, you used both of them in March, you used both of them at the 20s World Cup. What are the sort of things that you weigh up when you make that decision as to how to set your teams up?
Yeah, we look at who's available, who's in form, who's strongest for the game. We look at the opposition and how they're set up, what are their strengths and weaknesses. Going from the first game in China, we only had one training session really before we played that game, and that was the shape that we'd come off the back really from the Costa Rica and Australia game, so it was easy to go into that game. And then you saw the second game, we did change it and we looked to play slightly different. Every formation you play gives you different things. It takes away something, but it gives you something different as well. And this group of players we have, we've got some really good, exciting footballers. So, we do need to put a formation together that suits them and that the players are comfortable with and that they want to play. So yeah, it's been a good 3 days here. With lots of work done, hopefully we'll be ready for Sweden.
Cool, thanks guys.
G'day, Darren. Can you hear me? Zion here.
Yeah, Zion, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. Hey, look, just I guess on your opposition, Sweden. What do you know about them? I guess have you done much research on them? And if so, what are their threats?
Yeah, we've watched their last probably 7 games through bits, and obviously the last few pretty closely. They've got some very good players. They've got players playing in the Premier League, in the Bundesliga, and in the top leagues around Europe. So, yeah, they're a very good team. They're ranked 22 in the world for that reason. They're pretty effective in how they play, and they've picked up a lot of good results over the last year. So, yeah, they're a threat. They've got some really attacking threats, and they're pretty strong defensively. Very organised team. So this is, like Joe said, this is going to be a real test for us. We feel like this is a good opportunity, like a checkpoint, to see where we are, how far we've come, and how much work we still need to do to be able to compete at this level, if that's where we're going to look for, in 2026.
And Joe, I guess it's not often that the All Whites have had games in the international windows consistently. I guess this is hopefully the first of many. How much is this going to help this group, I guess, build team chemistry and I guess ideally looking towards the World Cup as well?
Yeah, I think a lot, and it was something I touched on at the start. I think a team like Sweden's really gonna push your weaknesses, but that's really what we want. We want to grow going forward, so they've got fantastic players and they're a fantastic team. So, I think we're going to learn a lot from that. But also it's a chance for us to see how we want to approach games like these, because these are opposition we're going to find in the World Cup, which is our goal, to get there and play against teams like this. So, yeah, I think it's a test not only on the football pitch, but also our mentality going into the game.
Appreciate it, guys. Go well. Thank you.
Next question, please.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Good.
Hey, just one for Darren. You called up Finn Sermon, of course, potentially for his first cap. What have you kind of seen from him now that he's come into this environment? Have you been impressed, or what have your thoughts been?
Yeah, I mean, he looks completely at home. He's such a good lad. He's a very good player. First off, he's here on merit. He's had a good couple of years building up to the Under-20 World Cup, and at that World Cup, I thought he was outstanding. So he's a good player. He's a future all-white. This is an opportunity to get him in amongst the senior players here, and for him to spend time with Michael Boxall and Tommy Smith has been invaluable for him. But he's fitted in like it's it doesn't look like it's his first tour. He's such a good lad, and he's a leader as well. At such a young age. So yeah, fitted in well. He's doing good, and yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, he gets an opportunity to get on the pitch.
Sure, and just one for Joe. Of course, it's going to be a tough match against Sweden, but what exactly are you expecting from them come Saturday? Where do you think their strengths lie on the pitch, and maybe where some of their weaknesses lie?
Yeah, I think they're quite interesting. I think they're going to press us quite high defensively from their standpoint. So I think that's going to put a lot of pressure on us and how we're going to deal with that playing out from the back. I think, not saying they're not as focused to be with the ball, but I think they do offer a threat in transition. So that's something that we're definitely going to have to be aware about. Keep a lot of balance within the team, and obviously, looking at their lineup and the players that they have in the squad, they've got some extreme personal qualities. So you're always going to have to be aware of that. But again, it's just going to be a challenge. But I think those 2 points defensively and the transitions going the other way, they're going to be the main things.
Awesome. Cheers, guys. All the best.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi there, it's Josh here.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah, hi. How much thinking goes into this, because you've got 2 games in 4 days, in terms of planning game time and getting to see some of the players that you've brought back into the squad, for instance?
Yeah, right now we're just looking at Sweden, obviously working on the job in hand. So we've had this extra bit of time this camp, which has been great to assess the players. So nobody's unavailable for this camp due to travel or due to any injury stuff, which is awesome. So we'll play the Sweden game. We'll see how the players are after that game, see how they recover. We do then have to travel to Austria, so we've got a travel day and then 1 training session before we play again. So the turnaround's quite tight. So what we will do is just deal with Sweden for now, not think too far ahead, and then assess the players after the game.
Yeah, and given that Sweden have got a big game next week, presumably they'll be using this for very specific purposes. Is there any way you can exploit that and take the game to them?
Yeah, until we get their team sheet, we're not sure exactly who will play. We know we've got the squad, so we know that they're pretty deep, and whoever plays is going to be a player that's playing at a pretty high level. So I suppose their coach has an option. Does he put a strong team out ready to sort of prepare for their big game next week, or does he rest players and just use those big players for their qualifying game? So that'd be down to their coach and the decisions that him and his staff make. So until we get that team sheet in just before kickoff, we probably won't know, because there's not any media giving us any help over here at this stage.
Right. Okay. Well, good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Joe, you're a student of the game. How would you sort of assess the different sort of shapes the team's set up in over the past 18 months or so, and how they work for you guys, as especially the group of sort of younger players coming through?
Yeah, I think, look, at the end of the day, it's just a formation. But I think, one of the things we've focused on as a playing group is being adaptable. And obviously we've had success with, many formations, and we have played quite a few formations as well. So, we're a young squad, and we've also got experienced players, but I think everyone's pretty well known with switching between 2 or 3 formations. So no, I know you want me to say I prefer one or the other, but it's really not like that. I think the qualities that we have in the team we can express in a whole range of formations. We do obviously want to build an identity going forward. So I think leading into the World Cup 2026, I think you'll see more consistency in one formation. But we're still at a point where we're still finding things out. We're still learning, so we're not quite there with stating it's going to be one or the other.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind if you don't want to pick one. I guess you guys are footballers. You've probably got more authority on the subject than me. You often see it's an all-whites game or even an under-20s game of some of your recent ones, Darren.
Yeah.
A lot of fans sort of seeing, there's an extra centre-back, there's an extra defender, and viewing it as, quote-unquote defensive.
Yeah.
I mean, for either of you, how would you sort of try and, I guess, explain some of the benefits, playing with 3 at the back and the way you have in recent times?
I think whichever formation you put out, it's how you play that formation. When we've played a 3-4-3, we've tried to make that a really attacking option, and in effect have 3 defenders against potential 4-2-3-1 of having 4 defenders. So there's an argument that it could be a more attacking style. If you get pinned back, it becomes a 5, and it does become more defensive. So I really think it's how those different formations are played within each game and the moment of each game. Whichever formation you put out, you can make that as defensive or as an attacking option as you want, or as sometimes the opposition make you. So there's, like I said before, there's benefits and sort of weaknesses as such in each formation. You gain something, you lose something, whichever way you play. So we're really now concentrating and having lots of discussions with the players around who are we, what do we want to be moving forward, how do we want to look as we build towards the big games, and the final goal is obviously the World Cup. We need to qualify first. We need to get through that and make sure that we get the job done. But we do want to have an identity, like Joe says, where we can constantly build on something. So I think you'll find as we go over the next period of time, there won't be so many changes to the formations and stuff like that.
You're sounding very much like a man whose all-whites job isn't about to end in 4 days. Are you expecting to be around a bit longer?
No, you've got to have the mindset like I did in March. You come into this environment. I've always said I'll be myself, and I'll give it everything I've got. I love the job. So the best way to do the job is to do it with a long-term view. I can't come into an environment like this and try to get a short-term gain, short-term result to try to get a job. You've got to go into it looking at the bigger picture for the players. This is their squad. This is not my squad or the staff squad. This is the players' team, the players' squad. We work together to try to make it the best we can. So, the best way for that is to look ahead. To bring someone like Finn Sermon in, to give him an opportunity. Whilst that's a long-term view, it's for me, it's it's the right thing to do.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Andrew.
Darren, just on that, have you been given a timeline or a process of, I know you're focusing on these upcoming games, but
Yep.
I mean, is there a timeline or process for you to find out whether you can take interim or not off your job title?
Well, I mean, the difficulty is I've been away from New Zealand for probably 5 weeks now. Obviously, we went to Argentina. I was on a course before Argentina, so that was a week, and then we had 3 weeks in Argentina, and I was back in New Zealand for about 5 days before we left to come here. So I actually haven't had a lot of conversations at this stage, and because it's so close to this window, it was probably right to not get into it again until after this window. So after this window, we'll have some conversations, see where the process is at. And I said last week, it shouldn't be a quick process. It's such a big decision, for the team and the environment moving forward for the next 3 years. So, I'm comfortable that it's taken a bit of time, and that they're looking at everything before they make the big decision. Hopefully, people see how we've worked, how we've done. Hopefully, we put on some really good performances people can be proud of, and that'll go for me. But I know that there's other good people around as well.
Yeah, sure. And Joe, I guess from a player's perspective, has it been frustrating, or you'd like to get from a player's perspective to get this sorted, or is it just all part of the process?
Yeah, I think as players we do our best to just focus on the game, and again I'll go back to the word adaptable. I think we recognise the situation, but we're focused on performing, and I think personally, and I think from a team perspective, I think it shows a lot of courage from Baze in this moment here, where for sure we could go out on Friday or Saturday for you guys against Sweden and try grind out a result in the hopes that it looks good in the media, but the recognition that what we're trying to work on is long term, and that's going to be the best for the players group, I think shows a lot of courage from all the staff involved. So no, I don't think it's something we're too stressed about or frustrated about. We're just focused on working towards our end goal, which is 2026, and I think what we did in China and what's been going on here behind the scenes has been really positive. So we're taking steps forward, and that's the most important thing for the players group.
Yeah, and just finally from me, talk about taking steps forward in terms of those China games into these two games. Darren, what do you want to see that would be a measure of improvement in these next two games?
Yeah, I mean, they're different opposition. So, whilst we won the second game against China, that was China ranked where they were. This is against a different team. So for us, we want to put on a performance. We want to play a certain style of football that creates good moments for us to score goals. Ultimately, it will be down to that moment. The result-wise will be: do we take our moments when they come along, and do we defend the Swedish moments when they come along? So I think it's all about performance, and it's all about taking next steps, and definitely for this game is a good opportunity for us to see how we can compete at this level against these type of players, and how close we are, or like I said, how much work we need to do over the next period of time before we have another test like this.
Thank you.
Okay, any final questions?
Darren, I'll just check. I think you said it. Just one last one, Chris.
Go for it.
I think you said it in one of your answers, but everyone in the team's available for selection tomorrow night?
Yep. Everyone's here. Everyone's been here for 3 days now. We've got a couple of players that have on, we'll call it maintenance, but we've got awesome physios, so they'll make sure that everybody's available for the game.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. We will call that there. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Baze.